Alright, I got 3 adventures for today. Just one, put the exhaust manifolds. I'm just going to reuse these gaskets. They look in pretty good shape. I was trying to decide whether I was going to paint these nasty things, take them off and paint them, or just paint them right on the engine. Don't know, but I'd like to make it look a lot prettier than that. I want to do this brake line here. I'm not sure how that's in there, but that was on the to-do list. And I bought the seal for that. And I see another spot dripping, which gives me a little concern. I'm not sure why a second spot would start dripping, but that's my goal. I watched a video on how to get that off. Just comes off through the front. Just take off those 4 bolts, take off the large nut in the center. So I don't know if I can make that happen, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And then this cable obviously goes through the floor, so I want to get that replaced. So I may show some of it, may show very little of it. That's my goal. Alright, failure number 1. That gasket is not any good. I'm not sure the header allowed that, the round header allowed that to cook out of there. So I can't use the gasket because there's not enough surface space for that. So failure 1 already failed. Those look like they're the square ports, so I need to remember that when I'm ordering the new gasket, or I need to try to take this off with me, take it to the house. That will be better, so I can order something similar. So the lead had come off that section, so I didn't believe it was going to seal very good. So, but otherwise, it's a pretty nice gasket. So step 1, gaskets. Step 2, we're already looking at this, and I feel like I want to refurbish this. In order to get this connected, I believe I'm going to have to take it loose from the car. And if I take it loose from the car, I'm going to want to clean it, paint it, restore it, kind of ish. So that is project number 2. Just not that motivated to get to it, but I could take off the screws and see if that's a fix. And so let me crawl underneath and see if I can undo the drive shaft. All right, these were a weird number 11 metric, which opens up Pandora's box that these need to be replaced on the drive shaft. But just by chance, this was a 1 1/4. I saw that in my toolbox. I brought it. That seems to be the one that fits. And I have an impact, so I'm going to carry on, see if I can get that nut off. I doubt it, but I'm going to try. Alright, that opens up another question, is how tight should that be going back? Because it was not on there per se. So that easily came off. Now the next step is to get that piece off. Well, I was unprepared, and it's actually got on the back of this, and I didn't go crazy, but I was hitting on this section. Then the washer fell off, and then I jiggled this off and fluid started pouring out. Now I should probably mark that where it should go back on, possibly. So if I put a mark here, it's probably not marked very good. to put that back in the same spot. Hopefully it has a, what do you call it? A main tooth for it to go on. Okay, so everything poured out of here onto the ground when I loosened that up. So I've dried it up since. Got a little container. Let me pull the rest of that off. All right, to me that looks like a balanced unit. I guess they put a weight on that side at a particular spot. So it doesn't look like it's damaged much there. I mean, it does have some wear, but this gasket specifically said it had extra meat on that portion to seal this. So I think that's going to be good enough. Put some grease on there. Seems like it's tight enough to do its thing. So now I have to install that back in there carefully. It's going to be hard to do. All right, this strange reducer has been my go-to seal installer for a while. It's a 2" by 1". That fits that pretty good. I do have a bigger one that I've used, but that seems a little small. That seems more the right size, so I could stack it like that. Maybe that's what I will try to do, but that's what I got to work with. All right, here is my big 50-cent question. When I installed mine, I did not do it flush. I did it all the way, because I see that is beveled. So did I install it wrong? I put it in there till it bottomed out. It does not look like there's enough space in there, and look at all that dirt it got in there. So the other thing is, I forgot to put grease in here. And is it too deep? A lot of tough questions that I don't have the answers for. So did I do it wrong? Did the person before me do it wrong by doing it flush? How long has that been in there? Is that the original? Is that the factory? So I probably should have put it to, oh gosh, got a lot of questions on that. All right, pulled out the new seal, ruined it. So a couple things going on here. One, there's a hole on that side that comes around here and allows this to lube on the front side of this. Two, I think this needs the thing that sits flush on this outside so that the thing will not go down in there, because without the lip that allowed that to go all the way down. Now I could have put it flush. That's probably why it leaked, because it's not sitting square in there. So I'm going to go get the other style of seal that has the front flange on the front, which worries me a little, because the one has the front flange has to sit and clear this thing while it's spinning. So I'm not sure what the problem is or what's going on or why I'm not getting the right seal, but I need to do some more researching. There's some numbers for this axle. I'm sure I could figure out if I could find some numbers. May photograph that. All right, that was attempt number 2 with the Master Pro, and it definitely, the Timekin said it had a better sealing surface. That's why I purchased this for $10. This was $5 at O'Reilly. But again, my tools that I'm trying to use to dry that in there flush aren't going in flush. It's tweaking it, and then I'm pushing it in there because these don't have the flange surface. So I'm struggling. So I need some sort of socket or something in there that straddles both of these so it won't drive it farther in the hole. So my thinking is I definitely want to order more of these because it seems to be a better seal. See how thick that surface area is, and this isn't. So I definitely like that better, and it was tighter on the shaft. So I'm going to order 1 or 2 more of these and find a tool that actually will work. So I'm giving up on that for now. All right, after failure number 2, went up to the hardware store and I bought this, I don't know, pipe flange of some sort that's nice and flat on that side. 1.5 inches, and that all bottomed out, fits on there pretty good. So I can get that started, and then when that bottoms out, that's all. So that was 26 bucks, I think, but what are you gonna do? Got to do something to get that in there. None of the tools that you borrowed seem to fit, so that seems like a perfect fit. They had a smaller one of these, but that fit over the seal real nice. So here is the other seal. So plenty of surface area. It's not sitting on there good because it's wonky, but plenty of surface area to hammer on it and drive it in. Oh, I'm stuck under the car. Ow. So plenty of surface area for this side to drive that in there. I probably could have went with the 1.25 inches, but I was worried that the center hole would not be big enough to clear that little stuff inside, so I didn't know if that was 1.25 inches and had all the space. So I ordered the new Pinion Seal because I wanted the better sealing surface. This one seemed loose, so that's what I'm going with. All right, that's going to be attempt number 3. Ordered another one of these gaskets, part number 2034, and this was off of Rock Auto, but I think I ordered this one off of Amazon, and it said it had a tighter fit for the seal. So basically the original one and then the one from O'Reilly's Master Pro. So it's nobody's fault but my own for not getting that in there flush and square. So I am going to attempt to use this tool. I'm going to use my tool to start it, and then as soon as I get that started, I'm going to use this. Alright, I got it started, but the problem is no matter how you start it, it always dips in on one side. This is not a good design. I like the design that has the flat surface on the outside so it doesn't go in and twist. So I'm going to use my new super tool as long as I feel like it's going in flush and square. What I don't like is I can't hit it right on the end. I'm having to still tap around the outside, so it's making it where I don't trust that it's going in flush. Well, it's going. It's almost there, but I feel like I don't trust that it's going in square. So I just keep tapping it, so hopefully it bottoms out flush like it's supposed to be. So I'm going to keep going. Well, that is, I think, is good. I'm still not sure if it's 100% flush, flat and square, and hitting this till it's bottoming out. So I'm only 95% comfortable with that, but I did the best I can. So I've driven that flush. What are you gonna do? So basically I greased it. I'm ready to put this on there. I don't know whether that's the correct mark or that's the correct mark. It's been too long. I think this is going something like that. You know, what I'm gonna have to probably do is put this in neutral so that can relax to put this back. So unfortunately this could roll. The front can't roll. I guess it could come off those blocks. So I feel not very safe under here right now, like I felt before. I feel like this could roll off, even though I have jack stands and on the tires. I still feel like if you got crazy with it, that you could force this to roll the car. So, not sure what I'm doing next now that I've resolved that portion. All right, I test fit that, put it back to where it was straight. I don't see this thing lining up. I guess it lined up with my little paint mark kind of right through there. So I'm going to put the nut back on it, which I have no idea where this nut is, but that's what's got to go on next. Done lost the nut. That's what happens when you go away from stuff. All right, trying to clean up a little bit. Made a nice little mess, but what I've misplaced is the nut, and the only thing I can think of is the nut might still be in the socket. So let me see if I can find the socket I used. All right, I've looked in that red bucket. I've looked on the floor. I've looked in these rags. Under shell number 1, shell number 2. Well, anyway, I looked for the sockets that I used, and I couldn't even find the sockets that I think I used. So I don't know how I've lost that. All right, I've been looking for over an hour. I did not put that back in there where it belongs. And look what's on there. And there's the nut. Okay, well, at least I know where it's at. All right, it's always good to see some success, even if it is a slow process. Now, my next fear is that it would spin the wheels, pull this off, and crush me to death. So, it didn't move when I took it off, but what's the torque supposed to be on that? So let me look it up. Pinion nut torque. I could hit it with this thing, impact, but gotta go light with it. It wasn't on there Superman tight. It came off real easy. Well, I impacted it pretty good on there. My question is, put a torque wrench on there to see what it really is at for the fun of it. So let me get all that out. All right, so all the rear axle fluid came out of there. So the question will be, when I pull that drive shaft out, how much transmission fluid is going to come out of there? All of it? Hopefully not, but fixing to see. Let me get a thingy and a little bucket to put under that and slide that out, and I'll try to do a better job of marking this to put it back in the same spot. And I'll pull that out and we'll change those U-joints. Okay, I noticed a few things. One, the clips are on it to keep it centered on the where it's bolted. So somehow I got to get these clips out that I don't see, but they got to be there somewhere. Got to get the clips out, and this one seems in pretty good shape. But we got new ones, so I'm gonna get them all in there. What I don't know is why these have a set pin. So maybe I have the wrong ones and they have to have some sort of ones with set pins. I don't know if those pins have to be driven out. That would stink. But what I don't see is the clips to hold it in. So maybe I need to research that before I go pulling those off and then cry because I don't have the right ones. Because all four of these have those pins. Noticing right now, somebody's worked on this. So I'm not sure why this looks so bad if somebody has worked on it, because they definitely sanded that down, milled it or something to fit in there on the gasket. I'm not sure what to think about this. This may not be the original drive shaft for this. Don't know what to think. Don't know what to think. Okay, from what I'm reading, that is a piece of plastic that goes through this original thing. So the new ones are not going to have the plastic. They're going to have the keepers on the inside, because I already hit this side with the hammer, and the plastic just popped off of there. So the plastic cap already popped off, so I guess that's a piece of plastic. So these are probably the original U-joints. That's crazy. Only just little pieces of plastic. So those should theoretically press out or drive out pretty easy. So either I can take this and put it on my press, which is probably what I should do, make life easier, because I need to go get the bolt for this. The headers are drying. So I feel like if I had the press and some control, I could do this with a hammer and a socket, but it's going to knock out these little, what happens is these little BBs fall out. That's in there, those little things, and then they won't go back on. And you get one BB out of there and it's over. So there's BBs around the side. Little pins got to stay in there. If you pull them out and they come out of there, if those come out of that little spot and get in there and double rolled, it's over. So what am I gonna do? That's the way these projects always go, one problem to the next. I was anticipating just driving them out with a hammer and a socket, but I think those are going to be frozen in there pretty doggone good, so I think I'm going to go use the press to get them out. Alright, it took 2 people and a press. You would have never done that with a set of hammers. Here's what the factory ones look like with the weird plastic impregnated piece. So used the sockets to get these out. That was the setup. Basically, we had these weird metric to basically sit that on, and then we used this to drive the top. That was our setup. Took 2 people to hold this and drive it. Took a lot of pressure to push these out. I don't know if you would have got them out with a hammer. So they popped. So when that went down, it was like BAM! Blew out. So basically, when you get that together and pressed, it would pinch it. So basically what we do is put it back on here and then give it a little love tap to drive those back against the new pins to give that play on this. So otherwise it was too tight to move, so we were having to drive this back against each other. So that's what we got. All right, I'm going to throw out a gripe for this. Basically, it has a slot so you can use a screwdriver to tighten it, but I didn't install it before I put it on the car. So now I either need to spin this around or use a socket, and it has a socket size. Well, nothing fits this. So Moog, I'm cussing you right now. 1/4 inch don't fit, 6 don't fit, 7 don't fit, 5 don't fit. Nothing in my toolbox here fits this. So the only way I'm going to be able to tighten those is to spin this, and same with the other one. It's on top too, so I can't get to it. And I don't even think I can get a shorty in here. Maybe I could get there you go, one of those things on the tool and turn it. I've done that before, a flathead little thingy, and then turn it. So let me see if I can sort that out.